At 11, a crash in Taunton claims the life of one person. We take a look at the charges one driver is facing. Plus, an alarming new report in Massachusetts shows dozens of beaches are not safe. Find out why. And a suspect is now in custody following a nearly day-long standoff with Worcester police. We have all the details. But first, our top story tonight on 11 at 11. A 15-year-old girl is in the hospital tonight after police say she was shot in Fall River. Good evening to you and thanks for joining us. I'm Alyssa Azara. Fall River police say it happened near Danforth Street. At the scene, first responders found a young girl with a gunshot wound to her left arm. She was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Police say several shell casings were also found in the area, but no arrests have been made at this time. Anyone with information regarding the shooting is asked to call Fall River Police. Now to other weekend headlines we're following this evening. One person is dead after an early morning crash in Taunton. State police say it happened around 2:30 a.m. on Route 24. 35-year-old Fred Maria of New Bedford was driving south when he allegedly hit two motorcyclists, causing both drivers to be thrown from their bikes. 30-year-old Tyler Moniz of Fall River died at the scene, and an unidentified 39-year-old man was taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. Maria was arrested and charged with vehicular manslaughter, operating under the influence, and negligent operation of a motor vehicle. Meanwhile, in North Attleboro, the fire department required the help of 7 different agencies to help extinguish a fire overnight. Fire Chief Christopher Coleman says crews responded to an apartment building fire on Moody Street around 11 p.m. Friday. 22 apartments were forced to evacuate. Luckily, no injuries have been reported. The fire was put out early this morning, and officials say 2 of the residences are deemed a total loss. The Red Cross is assisting those displaced families. And a busy day for the North Attleboro Fire Department. Crews responding to a grease fire at a home on Haddock Drive around 1 p.m. Friday. Firefighters say they found a woman suffering serious injuries from the grease fire that other residents of the home were able to put out before crews arrived. The woman, whose name has not yet been released, was taken to the hospital for her injuries. Well, police say a 24-year-old man has been taken into custody after a nearly day-long standoff in Worcester Friday. The man, whose name is not being released at this time, is accused of shooting at police officers. Police say the suspect is believed to have shot 2 family members in his home before shooting at police. Tear gas, a K-9 unit, and a hostage negotiator were all used to try to get him out of his home. Police say he refused and was shot in the shoulder by officers before being taken into custody. Switching gears now to a story travelers will want to follow. The Massachusetts DOT announcing today that they will be making daytime improvements to the Route 6 intersection of Swansea and Somerset starting today. The repairs will be from Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. and will last for about 14 weeks. The DOT says drivers that have to go on Route 6 during construction should expect lane and shoulder closures, as well as delays and reduced speeds. In continuing coverage tonight, the Rhode Island Department of Health is recommending several beaches be reopened for swimming after being closed earlier this week due to unsafe bacteria levels. The beaches on your screen are part of that recommendation. The DOH says the bacteria levels at all 6 of those beaches are now back to safe levels. For any additional updates on beach closures, you can go to our website, abc6.com. Meanwhile, summer may be spoiled for swimmers in Massachusetts. The Department of Public Health warning people to stay out of the water at 50 local beaches. The beaches are all being monitored for dangerously high levels of human waste. The high levels of waste are likely due to recent rainfall that washed bacteria into the water. Now, officials say with almost weekly rainstorms since April, the waste runoff is excessive. And AAA reminding drivers of the dangers of heat stroke in cars as temperatures hit record levels around the world. Officials saying children and pets are in danger of dying from heat stroke if they are left in cars. The Director of Public Affairs at AAA Northeast says as of July 6th, 10 children have died in the U.S. as a result of vehicular heat stroke, and 33 died last year. AAA says if you see a child or pet locked in a car by themselves, dial 911 and take action if necessary. All right, time for a check of the forecast now. Meteorologist Kelly Bates joins us in the Weather Center. Kelly, is this heat here to stay?
Yeah, unfortunately, my friend, it looks like it is. We have outside just mostly cloudy skies, but as we go past the midnight hour, we're likely going to start to develop some fog out there too. So not only is it warm, it's wicked muggy. Our dew point is at 70, and that's very oppressive dew points. When we see them above 60, that's when we call it muggy, but 70, that's something completely different. Visibility is already being cut out on the Cape and the Vineyard, Nantucket as well, as we're already starting to develop that patchy, locally very dense fog there. Above the fog, we do have some upper level clouds, and mostly cloudy skies are likely going to be with us as we continue on through the overnight hours. So here's how things look for our futurecast, just bringing in clouds through the overnight, and that's how things will be going. So here's how things go for tonight into tomorrow. We do have mostly cloudy skies. As we go pre-dawn, that's when that fog will really thicken up, and temperatures will be dropping into the upper 60s once again to start tomorrow. Now, as we just think down the road to Monday, we do have the potential of bringing in a lot of rain. And we'll talk more about that and how much we could get coming up in just a couple of minutes. Alyssa?
All right, thanks, Kelly. To other developing news happening around New England now. In Vermont, police say a 19-year-old police officer was killed while chasing down a burglary suspect earlier today. Jessica Ebbighausen was killed when the runaway suspect, 20-year-old Tate Rayholm, struck her car head-on before hitting another car. Two other officers and Rayholm were taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Ebbighausen was pronounced dead at the scene. Meanwhile, a Dorchester man is being held without bail after he allegedly pointed a gun at several people while riding a scooter in Mattapan. The incident happened back on June 26th. Police say Marlon Alexander crashed into a police cruiser while trying to escape police and was found with a stolen Glock 42 from New Hampshire. Alexander was found dangerous by a judge and ordered to be held without bail until at least November 3rd. Switching gears to national news tonight, a massive manhunt now underway in Pennsylvania for murder suspect Michael Burham. Authorities describing him as a self-taught survivalist and are now warning residents to be vigilant. Take a listen.
On Saturday, authorities expanded the search for Michael Burham, who escaped from a Pennsylvania jail just weeks after he was captured in South Carolina following a days-long multi-state manhunt. The 34-year-old suspect facing homicide and rape charges in two separate cases in Jamestown, New York. He was being held in the Warren County Jail in northern Pennsylvania on arson and burglary charges and is also accused of carjacking and kidnapping a couple while trying to escape capture in May. A dozen law enforcement agencies involved in the new search.
We are considering him armed and dangerous, and we are cautioning residents if they see him or believe that he may be anywhere near them that they should not attempt to approach him.
At 11:20 p.m. Thursday, Burham making his daring escape from the jail yard, hoisting himself on exercise equipment and lowering himself to the ground with a rope made of bed sheets. Further complicating the search, authorities say Burham is a survivalist, capable of living in the woods for days.
Our members were out conducting wooded searches. I can tell you the terrain is very rugged, it's steep. We're using aviation assets to support their operations, but there are a number of places you just have to go on foot.
Authorities warning he is a dangerous individual. A federal complaint reveals a chilling note left for his father before his capture in May. Burham allegedly writing, "I'm not sorry for what I did."
Quite unsettling. A lot of chatter about where he might be or where he could be hiding.
Authorities advising everyone in the area to lock their doors and stay vigilant. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News, New York.
Meanwhile, a business jet with 6 people on board crashed after departing from Las Vegas earlier today. The plane went down near French Valley Airport in California, and all 6 passengers were pronounced dead at the site of the crash. When first responders got to the scene, they found the plane fully engulfed in flames. The FAA is now investigating the crash. Meanwhile, a U.S. soccer legend is retiring at the end of the NWSL season. Megan Rapinoe announcing today that this year will be her last. The 35-year-old is staying loyal to the OL Reign and will finish out the season. She says she's focused on leading the United States women's national team to another World Cup in New Zealand this year. But above all, she says she is grateful to go out on her own terms.
I'm just really grateful to be able to do it in this way. I understand that it is incredibly rare for athletes of any stature to be able to go out in their own way, on their own terms, at the time that they want, in a way that feels really peaceful and settled for them. So I feel very grateful that I'm here and that I have the trust of this team, and that my body has held up this long to be able to do this. So
Rapinoe is the first United States-born soccer player to receive the Presidential Medal of Freedom. In tonight's Consumer Alert, 7 Republican attorney generals are targeting a popular retailer's Pride Month campaign, suggesting the company possibly violated their state's laws. The GOP AGs signed and sent a letter to Target this week, accusing the retailer of promoting gender and sexual identity among children with its Pride-themed merchandise. They warned the items could violate their state's child protection laws. The Human Rights Campaign, an advocacy group, slammed the letter as, quote, another attempt from the extreme right to bully anyone who stands by values of inclusion and diversity. Meanwhile, starting Sunday, first-class stamps will cost 66 cents. Now that's up from 63 cents. The Postal Service says the increase is necessary to offset rising operating expenses. The agency expects to lose $4.5 billion this year. Still to come on ABC 6 News at 11, a controversial decision from President Biden when it comes to the war in Ukraine. We have the latest details. Plus, a look into what the future could hold. We'll take you to a robot convention and take a look at where AI could be heading. And the sun was strong again today, but will it stay or will the weather shift on us? Meteorologist Kelly Bates has your